And I just noticed Niels is asking what's the secret for Group HD. So I guess we can answer that.
On New Year's Eve, just hours before the clock rolled over to 2024, I invited some of my YouTube friends onto my 9-hour marathon livestream for a quick chat. Here are some highlights from my conversation with Ryan Somerfield. For those of you who may not be familiar with him, please, Ryan, would you give us a quick intro to your channel and what kind of work you do either on YouTube or off YouTube?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I have a YouTube channel. You could probably say it's similar to Doug Johnson's. So I do a lot of work in the live production space and doing, yeah, a lot of that kind of stuff is also like production, that kind of thing. So I try and do videos on YouTube, trying to like go a bit more in depth on things. So a bit more advanced, a bit more technical, complicated, and just trying to find new ways of doing things and also affordably as well. Like I do use a lot of expensive equipment, but not like the crazy top of the line stuff so much. But I'm
I mean,
always trying to find how do we.
you were just saying you bought the Constellation 8K, which is not exactly a cheap thing, but it is technically not the top of the line.
Correct. Yes. Like it's definitely not a cheap device, but compared to, some of the big Sony Grass Valley, that kind of stuff, it's a lot cheaper in that respects. But trying to do the best we can with the stuff we have and figuring out creative ways of doing it. So that's what I do on YouTube. In my day job, I have a AV integration company. So we're building things. There's a YouTube series I've done on a fit out that I did in a stream Airstream. So we did a vision system in that. Although actually that may actually end up moving into a truck soon. The client is going, hey, can we move this into a truck? So that's
great. Okay.
might have to be rebuilding on that. So it's gonna be fun. Yeah, so apologies, I'm not in a fancy thing. I'm currently on a farm about 4 hours out of Sydney. It is, what time is it now? 11:34 a.m. I'm already in 2024. I've had our New Year's celebration, and now we're just chilling out here. So I'm on a 4G connection, and I've got kids coming in. So we'll see how we go.
Well, that explains we definitely are getting some jittery video from you here, but that explains it. 4G connection in the middle of nowhere. We're using Zoom ISO still, but this is actually from Ryan's account. So Ryan's hosting the meeting, and then I joined it. And that's because Ryan does have the 1080p resolution set up on his. However, I'm looking at the stats here, and we are definitely not getting 1080. But I guess that's because of the connection.
Yeah, so I mean, the connection is doing the best it can. I'm shooting at 540, streaming at 540. I actually just went to 360 then, so it's a little bit more than 360. But in theory, the rest of the guests should be able to join and get up to 1080. And I just noticed Niels is asking what's the secret for Group HD. So I guess we can answer that.
Oh yeah, sure.
I just looked it up. It looks like it has updated recently. So what it used to be was, sorry, you need a business or an enterprise account. So to get the minimum you're required was a business account, which so you needed 10 business accounts to make it a business account, which is essentially like 10 pros.
Wow.
But so
Okay.
10 businesses to make it a business account to then update that. But in their write-up now, they've said that if you have a pro account, you can get up to 720. It doesn't say anything about enabling it though, so it may just work if you go into your Zoom preferences and go down to meeting stuff and turn on Group HD to 720. But if you have that business or enterprise account, you can get up to 1080. So I'm on a business account. I've got a client who does a lot of Zoom work, so they just bought 10 accounts just so they could do 1080 stuff. So I just kind of stole one of those.
Okay. 10 accounts, like you need 10 users in your organization.
A minimum of 10 users, yes.
So that's like, what is it, $15 a month per user?
Annually, 300 a user per year. So monthly is 30 a user per year. So you need 10 times that. So 300 a month, essentially, to get. So it's probably 150 to 200 US or so a month. But the trick that I did use a lot of during early COVID was if you join a Zoom room. So I used to have a computer dedicated just to have Zoom room on it, which is an annoying bit of software to run on a computer. But if you join a meeting using that Zoom room, you can bump that up to 720. So that's a little hack to get 720 enabled on a call, which doesn't have that enabled. But even though I've got a business account, and if I joined your call that you originally set up, that wouldn't bump it up to 1080. I have to own the call,
right,
and start it as that to get the 1080. So that's the essentially how that all works. And that changed only 2 weeks ago. I just saw on the notes. So that's interesting that
Oh, really?
that's happening.
Interesting. Okay. So, okay. So let your nerd be heard says to get HD, you need to meet the requirements listed at the bottom of the using group HD video Zoom article. So not for everybody, but I will say you said 720 you said is possible without that 10 user license.
It seems that way, yeah. So if you have a pro account, it seems you can get up to 720, which in
Pro
all
just means
honesty
that you're
is
paying, right?
correct. Yep. So that's the base level. I'm just paying to get non-free, basically, which is good because that used to
Which
be not the case.
yeah, yeah. So I do have a pro account, so I can do this on my account then, right? I have to.
Technically, I think you go into the Zoom portal, go into meeting settings, and then scroll down. There'll be a group HD button, and you should be able to check that box and check 720 at least.
Okay.
All going well. But
I
yeah,
will give that a shot
that's
before
like
the next.
yeah, give it a shot. But you're welcome to use this call because you're the host now, so you can just keep using it. But anyway,
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, as long as I stay, uh, as long as it stays active,
on the
which
call,
the last one shut down randomly for no reason. So yeah,
classic.
it was like idle for like 30 minutes or whatever. It was after, I forget who. It was after one of the guests. I just left the Zoom on, but there was nobody in it, and then I looked back later and it was like gone. Um, I don't know if that's
Interesting.
related or if it was just a random glitch. So
Yeah, hopefully that's just a glitch because there will be times where you're in a production, we have the call open and ready for guests to come in.
right,
You don't want that to end
you
because
don't
it's
want it.
just no one's there.
Right.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Okay, I found an HD setting, so I'm gonna check that box.
Great.
See what happens.
And is it giving you the 1080 option or just 720?
It just says. It doesn't say. It just says
Okay.
higher quality video. But
Good
honestly,
shot.
720 is still a big bump up. So I'm also seeing, in addition to that setting, you do have to contact Zoom and ask them to activate it on the back end. Okay. Well, I'll do that for next time.
That definitely used to be the case, but it doesn't seem to be in the documents anymore. I could be wrong. But that was updated 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And now I'm sending 720 supposedly. So the 4G
Oh yeah, look at that.
cleaned up a little bit.
Nice. Yep. You don't have any harsh contrasting lines in your background again, so we can't compare it to Doug's with his like nice logo in the background on the monitor with like a black frame. So Zoom auto closes if it detects no activity. Have had that happen multiple times on productions. Interesting.
I think a lot of the time I
gosh.
have a redundant Zoom call happening. So there actually are two people in the call and I have
Oh, that's a good
like
trick
one on
for
one on fiber, one on 4G, just for redundancy sake. So that would keep the call active. So that's probably why I've never seen that before.
That makes sense. Okay, so we just jumped right into the Zoom stuff, but let me ask you the questions I've been asking the other guests. So for 2023, based on the type of work you were doing or videos you were making on the channel, what is the one piece of gear that you enjoyed using the most throughout the year?
Look, that was I saw that question. I'm thinking that's a really hard question because there was so many bits of gear and software and things that I tried. But one that I've just gotten recently, and some viewers of my channel may have saw the interview that I did recently just for fun, was the Ultimate 4K. So I've actually built a green screen studio now in our studio at the office, and we're doing live green screen and Unreal Engine and all that kind of stuff now. So that's been really interesting to play with because I've always been kind of anti green screen because I've just never seen it done well. Because you kind of watch the news and weather stuff and kind of go, oh, that just looks really average. But after seeing the team at Socially You, I actually went and visited them after NAB and checked out their. Oh, sorry, it wasn't after NAB. It was after another trip in the States recently, and looked at what they did. I'm like, this is actually really quite impressive. Like, it's not perfect, but it's getting really good. And mixing that with Unreal as well, and actually being able to create scenes and environments is, yeah.
Your video on that was really, really good. Really showed what the capabilities are of that. I did have an Ultimate on loan here from Blackmagic for a little bit, and I was doing some tests with it. I don't have the space to do that kind of set because it would take the entire room to get the lights in the right spot to light it properly. So I couldn't fully actually do that kind of work with it.
Mm.
But I was impressed even just with like the really basic green screen. Like I have the one that pulls up from the floor there, and then if I get my lights in just the right spot, I can get it to be kind of evenly lit. And I was really impressed with even like it looked way better than anything I've used before in this space. And then if when you go and actually light it properly and have a
Yeah.
real set, it was good.
What I do want to do soon is actually do probably, I feel like a live stream would probably be the better thing for it, but just literally sit on camera and play with the Ultimate and the ATEM gear and just do a side by side. It's not a
Oh
scientific
yeah,
thing by any means because it's
yeah.
very much a craft to be able to mix
Well,
that. But
they work completely differently too. It's like
yeah,
yeah,
there's so many options in the Ultimate versus the ATEM one. But just do it as an AB going, is it actually worth it? I mean, I've just bought 3 of them now, so I kind of hope it is, but it's
I'm pretty
um
sure it's actually worth it. Although I will say the Ultimate, it is complicated to learn. There's so many settings. It's like it's a
mm,
whole thing, and it's not like don't expect to buy it and then just immediately get good results. Like you have to go and spend the time to learn how it works and to learn how to tune it. But you
yep.
can get really good results if you're willing to do that work. But like
Mm,
most people in like a home studio for doing green screening on top of like a virtual presentation or whatever, like you don't need to go that far, and a ATEM mini green screening is good enough for that.
yep.
And it's so much simpler. So I don't want everyone to think that they have to go and get that, but like it is really good.
Well, especially the 4K one as well, because you got more pixels to work with. Like you got that
Mm,
finer detail.
that's a
So
good point.
we do all of our keying in 4K just to give it the best shot. And then if we're doing a HD production, we'll down res it after that. So
That makes
like
a
we
lot of
do 4K
sense.
productions as well, but just give it the most pixels and the most things to work with. And then, yeah. So that's why we went for the 4K route. We are doing 4K productions too, but having that option to be able to do a really fine key and then just down res it, might as well.
That's a totally makes sense. Show this comment from Nils. The Ultimate interface is from a different time. I agree. It took me a while to realize what was happening with the computer interface to control that because it's trying to mimic a physical device, which has constraints that a physical device
Yes.
has. Like this knob is here in this place, and that's it. But like on a computer, obviously
Yep.
that isn't true. So it was trying to mimic it, and it took me a while to realize, oh, I see why all these things are like in weird places that I wasn't expecting. Oh, Koala says, isn't it
Mm,
needed per camera? Do you
100%.
need?
You could get sneaky and try and do some automation where you have multiple going through, say, an aux. So if you say you have like 4 cameras going through an aux and an ATEM into your Ultimate, you preset because you have like 5 save states that you can sit there. So in
Mm,
theory, you could try and line it up with Companion or something where you press the button and it will change the aux and change the save state and change the background all at once. But getting that timing pixel frame perfect is going to be very difficult, especially with something like Companion because it's not necessarily going to be
no,
perfect. So
actually, yeah. Your video is now downscaled to 320 by 180 at 5 frames a second.
as long as the sound gets through, that's the main thing. But yes, if you do have an Ultimate and you do want to learn some things, Andre from Social U did to do a like a 10-minute tutorial on like, don't worry about all these other settings. Here is how you just get it to work and just smash it
Mm,
out. And
okay.
that's a really good starting point. Obviously play with all the dials, but he does a very good video on that. How to use it well.
Question here from Nils for you. What were or are the biggest challenges when starting with virtual production?
Well, it wasn't that far at all. I mean,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I did do a job for a client probably a year or two ago where we started dabbling into Unreal Engine, where we got someone to build a environment. I was using the iPhone tracker, so we had it attached to the top of the camera, and we were doing like parallax things. And we were just recording the keyframes in Unreal for that job at that point, and then moving them into post and then just dropping them on top of each other. We didn't actually have any sort of sync. We didn't have any time code. We didn't have any claps or anything like that. So actually syncing the files together was an absolute
Mm,
nightmare because we just had these files just sitting there. We're just kind of going, well, this is the next one in line. But when did that start? Because we're just doing little minor movements on the camera. So yeah, having it live now has been a lot easier because it's just in and out straight away. But Unreal is a huge bit of software. Um, there's a lot to do on it. It's an amazing bit of software, but yeah, I just spent a lot of time on YouTube just trying to learn these things. But having like the biggest thing I found was lighting is so key in virtual production worlds. If you haven't got the lighting done
Mhm.
well, it's just going to look horrible. You're going to get a lot of grain. You're going to have a lot of these things going on. And so finding out how to get your ray tracing and or baking your lighting and that kind of stuff, that's what's taking a lot of time. But what I found really fun is actually having a world and going, cool, put my DOP hat on. I know how I would want to light and just being like, cool, I'll put a softbox over there. I put a light over there. I put a fixture over here. Have like a glow coming from here. Like being able to put lights anywhere has been so much fun. Just going, what would I do in real life if I had an unlimited gaffer budget and being able to just
Yeah, right,
build
right.
anything? It's been a lot of fun.
Did you buy that last year? And if not, what was your favorite new purchase of 2023?
Yeah, so we bought one last year just to kind of try it out. And then just a month or two ago, we bought two more because we had a three camera shoot happening. So that's a beautiful frame that it's been
Yeah.
paused on there.
We're down to like
And
0.2 frames a second.
it's getting there somehow, as long as the audio comes through. Yeah, so we bought two more of them. The other thing I'm actually looking into for this year is the data management in 4K
Oh,
is becoming a bit ridiculous.
okay.
So because we've got the HyperDex Shuttle HD pluses, the half U ones, and that can
Mhm.
only record ProRes in 4K. And so when we're actually doing, yeah, 4K ProRes, it's
As opposed to
really
H265? Like
correct.
you
Yeah.
want to record more compressed?
Uh, yes, because we're doing it's all baked keying, baked lighting, baked grading and stuff. I mean, I don't need the higher bit
Right.
rate for any post
Okay.
production. But we're doing long form content. We're shooting hours a day, and we're like, well, there's 3 terabytes gone. It's just now that Dropbox has dropped its unlimited cloud storage,
Oh, no, really?
we're struggling a lot now
Okay.
because we're like, oh, we actually have to think about this now.
I mean, did anybody really not see that coming? Unlimited storage is never unlimited.
Well, it was fine until the crypto miners who were using the storage thing. I don't even know what it's called, but that's what really killed it. But
Yep.
anyway,
I mean, I'm not surprised. Uh,
not surprised at all.
so then, what are you most excited about for next year going into 2024? Is there something you're looking forward to adding to the kit, adding to the studio, or
I'm definitely keen for doing more virtual production, trying to figure out how we can do that. But we're also looking to open up actually into the States and do some more installs and work
Hmm,
stateside. So that will be interesting. We're looking into how we can do that because our company actually has an office in the States, so we have all the infrastructure there ready to do that. But if anyone out there is looking for techs or people to help with installs or designs or anything, let me know. I'd love to have a chat.
we should let you go. We got 5 minutes before New Year's UTC -1, so we'll say cheers then. But I'm disappointed that your 4G is not up to compete with this Zoom ISO account that you have. So hopefully we can get somebody else in here to show it off in its full 720. Hopefully,
I hope so.
I was seeing
Apologize
720
again for
here,
that.
so
No, it did come through
hopefully
at some point. Yeah.
hopefully somebody will be able to join at 720, and we'll get to show it off.
Thank you so much for having me again, as always. It's always a pleasure to hang out and chat and enjoy the rest of your long stream. I'm impressed that you've gone this far.
Me
It's
too.
a long,
I
long
hope I
haul.
can keep it up till East Coast. Thanks so much for joining. See you on the
Thank you
internet.
so much. All the best.
Bye.